Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
Well, we're at Travis Pointe for the really fancy legacy celebration in honor of a couple of great people we'll get to later. But right now, we have a couple people from the Detroit golf team, and you get to do something pretty special today. What's your name?
Sarah Thompson.
Sarah Montone.
And tell our viewers what it was you were doing today. You were helping out the foursomes, right?
Yeah. So what we did is we stood on one of the par fives, and basically we would just hit 2 drives for them and let them use whatever one they choose.
A little bit of pressure?
It wasn't too bad. It was kind of similar to what we get in our big tournaments when you have all eyes on you. So gotta please. So.
Oh, all eyes on you. Does that make a difference?
A little bit. Like you're kind of like okay, like I really want to hit a good shot for them. You know, you don't want to let anyone down, but in the end.
Out in the woods.
Yeah. I might have had 1 or 2 of those in the woods, but.
Yeah. So did they?
But again, wonderful gentleman, and he has done more for women's golf than I think any of you could possibly be aware of. So I would like to invite Mr. Barry, as my dad always used to call him, to come up and say a few words in tribute to women's golf. Jack?
Janina and her 2 brothers always won everything every year that they were eligible. And her dad would bring me tomatoes from his garden at the Free Press Junior Golf School Championship at Palmer Park. Janina asked me to say a few words. Then the next time I talked to her, she said, well, would you talk a few minutes? Well, I won't talk long. I only have a couple sheets. I wanted to talk about a little bit about the future of what I see for women's golf. I think it's fabulous. Keep on hearing all this stuff about we're losing players and losing players, and yet it seems to me we're bringing in more kids, and I think the drive, chip, and putt figures have been phenomenal just when they started last year. The PGA Junior Golf League that just started in Michigan, I think 2 years ago, and the numbers of that have shot up. They've had 18 courses last year, and there are more this year, and they're getting in more kids, and it's girls and boys. And I look at this, and holy mackerel, I wish we had you guys working for us at the Michigan Golf Foundation. This is sensational what you have done here.
And our first honoree is Mrs. Mary Fossum. And now I know we were going to have Stacy Slobodnik-Stoll do that presentation. She, of course, could not be here because she was doing what this legacy is all about, getting those girls winning and playing golf. And I believe we have maybe, I think we have a media presentation that Stacy recorded for us.
Mary, to me, you know, again, as I mentioned, she's been my mentor since I was a player at Michigan State. She's the one person that I can still call today and talk about qualifying and talk about my family and just really understand what it's like to be a coach day in and day out. She's just an incredible person. She is so giving. She's just extraordinarily kind. She still calls my players today to congratulate them, and they all get big smiles on their faces when they receive that call from Mayor.
One of our honorees this evening is the longtime Michigan State University golf coach, Mary Fossum. And Mary, you really started coaching golf right as Title IX took hold. That must have been pretty exciting.
Well, it really was exciting because at that time we wanted to be sure and get started in the right direction, and they didn't have anybody that had too much golf experience.
Right.
And of course, with Bruce being the men's coach, they thought, well, let's talk to Bruce and see if he can soften her up a little bit. So but that's how we got started then, and that's exactly right. It was 1973 before we had any competition. So it was pretty wonderful.
Yeah. Did you and your husband have any competitions between the two of you with different teams in the same school?
Never. They were all good friends. And they all tried to play together, and Bruce would always be there to help any of our golfers. Any of the older players that are here now, they would always tell you how much he helped their games. So he was very involved, but he loved it. He just absolutely loved the girls.
We know there's one incident in your life that I was quite struck by, and that's that at one time you actually beat Babe Didrikson Zaharias.
That, yes. Long ago and far away. But it was a very exciting time, and it was she was an amateur at that time.
Okay.
And so we were playing down in Cleveland. And sure enough, in the semifinals, I had to play Babe. And it was like, well, they'll say, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. She's going to out-hit me at least 100 yards most of the time. And so how it ended up is that I putted pretty well. And so
Putting for dough, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but it was exciting. But then I lost to Louise Suggs in the finals. I gave all my energy to the semifinals.
Well, I can see why. But what was she like?
Oh, well, she was really a very nice person, but everybody was kind of the younger ones, were kind of afraid of her, and because she was so good, but she was so nice, really was, and we always just loved her husband, and we had some really good times together, actually stayed in some of the same places and everything, so it was, you just have to know her a little bit, and once you got to know her a little bit, she was pretty fun, yeah.
Well, meeting her in match play is one great way to get to know her, I think.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we didn't have too much to say to each other walking down the fairway, though. So. I think she turned to the crowd one time and she said, how would you like to play against somebody that hits the ball, every putt in the hole? And I said, well, gee, I'm glad I do. I didn't do it all that much, but I mean, she's a pretty good gal. She really was, and certainly talented.
One of the real fun things about Googling your name is that every great player who plays in the Mary Fossum tournament shows up next to your name. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
I love it. It's so nice, and they have such a good turnout and everything like that. And Stacy does such a marvelous job with the present team. She's had the team now for 17 years, and I can't imagine that I've been retired more than that. And so it's so nice to see somebody come into the program and just enhance it so much like Stacy has, and I'm grateful for her.
She had a good foundation.
Well, that's what she says. She's always saying nice things about me, but I don't deserve it half the time.
Well, Mary, it's been a real treat to talk to you, and we need to let you go join the rest of the celebration. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here. I'm just enjoying it very, very much. Seeing people I hadn't seen for years, and some of the kids that I know that I have seen recently. But it's always like the old timers that you haven't seen for a long time, and then there they are, and it's like, boy, have we ever got a lot to talk about.
And the evening's just getting started, so there we go.
Thank you. This is so nice to be here.
Yeah.
I don't imagine there's anything I can tell anybody in this room about Betty Richart that you don't already know. But Betty has been involved in golf her entire life, having been brought up on a golf course. And she became very adept at playing golf at a very early age, so much so that she had to play in high school on a boys' golf team because there weren't any girls' golf teams at that time. So at a very early age, she began her campaign of leading the way and opening doors for other women to follow behind her. I think she has spent her entire life doing that.
One of the people being honored tonight is our favorite, Betty Richart. Betty, you just look gorgeous, by the way. I almost don't recognize you without a blazer.
Oh, that gave me such a good laugh. The children wanted me to wear it tonight just for Mrs. McCafferty.
Well, you know, there's so many things that you have done, but there's one that I've always been intrigued by, and that is you were on the USGA Women's Committee for how many years?
Well, I think it summed up 25.
Okay.
And I wish it had been more.
Well, there's no such thing as a men's committee, so what was the mission of the Women's Committee?
The mission was to run the women's golf in the United States and to be the core central spot where women from across the country could get answers to questions that they couldn't get from staff at Golf House.
Okay.
And so we had representatives in every state.
Well, that had to be huge in promoting women's tournament and women's golf.
So we felt so, and we were so excited to get the juniors playing, and so all of us wanted to be on the junior committee besides on the senior women's committee.
Did you do some of that too?
Oh, I did a lot of junior golf, plugging 10 years at the University of Florida, and I really was, I will have to say, I was, if heaven is anything like junior golf, I will be happy up there because those children were great rewards.
Sure. Oh, sure. And it's a game they can play for life, right?
And play for life, and they love to play by the rules. And
Oh.
it just pleased me so much.
Isn't that the hardest thing to teach?
Not really.
No?
They wanted me to do the right thing so many times.
Okay.
They watched me to be certain that I was going to call the right rule, and I always have remembered that. When I've thought about going lenient with my children on some things, I've thought, no, I'm going to be honest and direct because they'll know what is the right answer. And so anyway, they say, oh, Mother said so. Oh, but I don't mean to be stern like that, except I want to get that point across. There's only a right way sometimes.
Right. Well, that's a very interesting way to teach the rules, is to model it and have them pay attention.
I wasn't always right myself. Don't misunderstand me. But with the great help of Jean Myers and Mary Keene and the women that we had on our rules committee, I think I can be very proud of them as rules experts.
Did you see a huge difference when Title IX came along?
Oh, I did. I did right away. Do you know that I right away got in a car with Sarah Wald, and she and I went out to the University of Illinois and got our letter.
Oh, no kidding.
Because they didn't award one, you know, only for, and Sarah was quite a ball player before. She's not really an accomplished golfer, she's knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, we got a big kick. We had quite a weekend there, and Illinois did it up first rate. I know in my group, my age group, there were about 7 women that came back for this. But as the ages got up, more came back, and I think they had about, I would guess maybe 100 come back to get a varsity letter.
Wow. That is really exciting. And here you are wearing orange tonight.
I know, but that was by mistake. I don't know. I think it must have been on sale.
Well, you look terrific, and it's so much fun to see everybody here.
Jennie, I am so proud of what you're doing for golf, and I go to that. I wish I didn't have to Xerox the whole paper when I want sections out of it. It's just very exciting to me. It's one of the things I look for every month. In fact, I felt like you gave 2 months this month. Did we get 2 copies?
Could be. There's been a lot of news lately, so.
No, I know. You knew Ken Devine was over here yesterday. And
Good.
He's a troublemaker, you know, so.
Well, you know, that's a mark of a person of honor, that you can call somebody like Ken Devine a troublemaker. So with that, I think we'll let you go join the rest of the celebration.
Thank you, Jenny.
Betty.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Oh, thank you. And thank that handsome camera holder, too, will you?
I'll do that.
The ending to the story is that we learned to play golf because we had nothing else to do except either clean the horse's feet or play golf.
First of all, Shirley, welcome home and happy belated birthday. It was May 14th. Second, I want to acknowledge Shirley's family, the Glubas and the Juriks, who are sitting right behind her. We have Mike, Karen, Bob, Josh, Kathy, Rachel, and Peter. I think I got y'all. Thank you. As we all know, it takes a family to raise a golfer.
Yes, it does.
There are many in this room who know you better or have known you longer than me, but we go back about 20 years. That's when I discovered you. I was Director of Public Relations at EMU then, but I also had started a second career in 1989 as a golf writer. I was working with Art McCafferty and Terry Moore as a contributing editor to the Michigan Golfer. And in the 1990s with Art, we directed 2 Michigan Industry Golf Summits, and with Sarah Wald, we directed 3 Michigan Women Golf Summits.
One of our honorees this evening is Shirley Spork, who's looking very glamorous, I must say.
Hey, thank you. I made a quick change from the 18th green. I run in the locker room and get ready for this nice celebration this evening, and I feel very honored to be part of the celebration with Mary and Betty, and all the support that they're getting for the junior, or for the college girls from three universities is very special. And being from the state of Michigan and being from Eastern Michigan has always been special to me. And through my education, I was able to do a lot in the teaching and coaching of golf, and along with it, got to play a little bit of the tour and had fun out there. But in the early days, there wasn't much money and there weren't a lot of tournaments, so I thought I should use my teaching credential, and I became involved with the Golf Foundation and the education division of the LPGA. I'm a founder of the teaching division also, and it's been very rewarding for me, and to see how many people I've helped give pleasure to in the game of golf.
One of the things that's interesting about your very long resume is that you're one of the original founders of the LPGA, and that had to have been tough before Title IX.
Well, yes, we tried to get together, and it all happened in the fall of 1949, and 1950 is when we started. And the first year we had 11 tournaments, and that wasn't enough to, put bread and butter on the table. So we all worked for manufacturers and gave exhibitions and clinics around the country. Louise Suggs with McGregor, and Marilyn Smith with Spalding, and Babes Harris and Patty Berg with Wilson, and we were a very tight bonded group, and we believed in the fact that we could continue on through the help of all our sponsors that believed that ladies golf and professional golf could happen. And it's through the efforts of them and Civitan groups that supported us in the beginning that we were able to survive. And get to see all the country, and we travel by car, very seldom, once on a DC-3. And we traveled sort of in a caravan, and we had little paddles, and we'd wave out the window if we wanted to stop for gas or potty or food.
Okay.
And we all stayed together in the same place. They didn't have Holiday Inns in the beginning, and we stayed in motor courts. We stayed with homes, with families that were members of the club where we played. So we gathered a great nucleus of friends throughout the whole country. I can truthfully say that I've been in every state, and I have a friend in every state. So I think that's a real plus. And,
Sure.
We were pioneers in that we normally played a course that was brand new, had never been played in a tournament arena. And some courses we had to pick the weeds before we putted. We had to make our own pairings, and we had to make their own rulings, and we had to do about everything there was to do to make it successful. We used to take posters to all the little, in a town we came to, we'd go to the gas station, the grocery store, anywhere we could. Can we put a sign up, we're in town, we're going to play, come out and see us. And that's how we really got started. And these long friendships over the last 50, 60 years, there are only 4 of us left, founders, and that's Marilyn Smith and Louise Suggs and Marlene Bauer, Bossler, and myself. And I'm the only one that tries to still play, and it gets easier and easier to shoot my score by my age. You know, that's my goal now. My power is my age, so that's what I work on.
Rumor has it that you were out there teaching today. You just can't stop doing that either, can you?
Well, I was stationed on the 18th green, and we worked on putting and alignment and types of stroke, and it was fun for me to help somebody. And being a teacher, you give something, and I hope it helps them. And we had a few laughs and funny shots, and it seems like everybody had a good time, and it was for a great cause to help support 3 major universities for their women's golf. And I also have a Shirley Spork Golf Endowment at Eastern Michigan. So anybody that might listen that'd like to contribute, we'd love to have them do so.
Well, women's golf is doing quite well at Eastern Michigan and Michigan State, and all these northern states. It's a little harder to recruit here, isn't it?
You know, I grew up here, and we didn't have competition. There was no women's golf program. And when I played in the intercollegiate, I paid my own way, went to the tournament, won the national championship, came home, was not honored because you weren't supposed to excel in individual sports. But yesterday I got a letter from Eastern Michigan. I finally got my letter, my E. I got my
You
E.
did?
Yeah, I got my real E. So I can go home and look at my real E, and that's an honor for me.
So you need a letter jacket now.
Oh yes, I'll get one. Sure got to do that.
Well, it took them a while, but I'm sure glad they did it. That's very cool.
Yes, very nice. Very rewarding to me. And
really the first national champion in women's academic golf.
Well, after World War II, it was the first 1947.
Okay.
I think they started in 46. I don't know, but I played in 46, 7, 8, and 9. Those 4 years, and then we started the tour division. And Babe Zaharis was the one that really started it because she wanted a place to play and didn't have a place or people to play against. So she was able to convince Wilson Sporting to hire a tournament director, and I'll tell a story tonight about how I turned pro, but Babe told me what to do. Very funny, amazing.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say, and I know it's time to let you join the group. So thank you so much for talking with us and for all you've done to teach people better golf all these years.
Well, the nice thing about golf is you're out in the air, you're enjoying, you're meeting new people, you're making friendships, you're relaxing, you're from your daily stressful life, and golf is supposed to be fun and exact, and you're not out there to birdie every hole or be a pro. You just hit a good shot every once in a while, and remember that golf is a game of good misses.
Fund Development Auctions. Barb Porter, Budget Tournament. Nancy Sarah, Tournament. She's also a member of the USGA Women's Amateur Pub Links. Wagner, Golf Teams Coordinator. Subcommittee members, Inez Bridges, Communications and Publicity, Joan Cleland, Budget, Lou Stockton, Fund Development, and Mary Washington, fun development, auctions, and raffles. Thank you very much.